All right.
7:21, gentlemen. That means 1 minute ago we would have started when I wanted to, and we were a West Coast podcast. Just saying.
Amen to that. JK.
Speaking of that, the new Star Wars, we watched it, and it got kicked off at 4:20.
Hey, yeah.
By the way, you'll hear some raging in the back. Lucas, don't get us demonetized.
Please.
All right.
Edit.
We make so much money off this.
So many money.
Obviously, we're swimming in cash. That's why we do it, right?
So, where's this cash, boys? Huh?
Yeah.
Breaking news. Hold on, Garrett. Breaking news. The Senate approves stopgap spending bill to avoid pre-Christmas shutdown.
So that means we have funding. There was funding. Dun, da, da, da. They did a thing. Other than actually the thing. Well, actually,
let's get started with some WWE news. All right. So Vince McMahon.
They did a thing.
Hold on. I have to like put in headphones or something.
I can't believe the Senate actually did a thing, though. That's incredible.
So anyway, Vince McMahon, we've known for about a week now. He filed to make a new company under Alpha Entertainment, and then today he took out $100 million in shares from the WWE.
Coming soon.
In order to fund Alpha Entertainment, and he trademarked the URFL, both with a capital R and a lowercase r. Garrett, is there any way that this stands for United Republican Football League, and that the rule number 1 is stand for the anthem?
Solid. Okay, definitely rule number 1, we stand for the anthem no matter what, because you got Linda in the White House right now, but especially because of that. No, but what are the chances that like in like the next 2 weeks we have Vince McMahon investing the same amount of money in like some Litecoin shares that he transfers over and makes like McMahon coin or something? I mean, dude, crypto Vince.
I'm curious what all the trade
topical references.
Because Bleacher Report reported about 2 hours ago he filed for XFL also. So I mean, who knows what they're trying?
Well, there you go. I mean, okay, and then the real question is: we know Vince McMahon, we know his stance on a lot of things. Is there any way if he makes a football league, he allows Colin Kaepernick to play in it, Charlie?
For the pure money, yeah, he would. He'd let Colin, Tebow, and Manziel all in.
Well, he likes Tebow and Manziel. They're white.
Peyton Manning will go to this league so he can play.
God, dude, we were watching some like 3v3 basketball tournament thing, and it had all these retired guys. Had Allen Iverson in it. Were you watching that with us, Charlie?
I think so.
Oh God, it was bad, man. Don't do that. I swear to God, if this ends up being one of those things where like Michael Vick and Peyton Manning, like you said, and like Kurt Warner come out and start trying to play again. Oh,
Brett Favre.
David Carr.
Oh my God, what's gonna happen? Ocho Cinco will be the MVP of the league.
Palomalu comes back on the defense.
Dude, Aaron Hernandez. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
So Raw happened. We kicked off with Kurt Angle coming out saying that he's going to announce the new number 1 contender for Brock Lesnar's title. Right before he makes the announcement, he is interrupted by Braun Strowman, who comes out and says, well, it's obviously me. And Kurt Angle's like, well, if you'd let me get to my announcement. And then he goes to announce it and gets interrupted again by Kane, which I know Charlie was glad to see. Charlie, just one-word answer. Has Kane turned you over yet?
No.
All right. And then Kurt Angle finally goes to make the announcement, and he's interrupted again by Brock Lesnar. Well, technically Paul Heyman, who announces Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar comes down, and I thought this was great. Kurt Angle goes, I was going to announce it's a triple threat for the title, and then he says his catchphrase, and then he's gone. He's like, it's going to be a triple threat for the title. It's true. It's damn true. Bye. Rolls out of the ring. How did you like this, Garrett?
It felt rushed. I feel like they went like over on their time or something, and they they needed to get through it quickly, or it was intended and Angle's acting just didn't come across as well. I mean, he's never been renowned for his acting skills anyway. I don't think a lot of wrestlers are. I think it's just whether or not you can believe that, because wrestlers don't act like actors do. Actors, dramatic acting is a little different, I'd say, than like than like I'd say stage acting, because you're trying to act out a thing for somebody, you know. Because we talk about it a lot. Wrestling is a lot similar to theater than it maybe be like the movies. And I think that's why acting in movies doesn't always translate unless you're like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Well, acting in movies, you can get theoretically as many takes as your director is going to allow. So,
right, and in theater you don't get that. You have to do it live. So that's why the wrestling is just like fight theater, you know.
And then the real question is, Charlie, what are the odds Kane takes the championship home?
Well, I hate to be that guy, but as we've seen, they're not afraid to give the belt to anyone at the Royal Rumble. Triple H, The Rock, if they want to give him one last little run, they'll do it then.
Give it to Jinder.
I hope he's just there to get the pin to save both Brock and Strowman, but this is the time when they do shit like that, you know.
Dude.
So
5-second time.
No, it's not 7.5. Lucas's teammate choking away rounds on Search and Destroy, trying to
Brady
finish
with the stats. Brother Brady with the stats.
I know, man. So, I mean, I thought the segment was well executed. They did what they needed to do. I do agree, Garrett. It went a little long, but most of us are thinking Kane's here to eat the pin. But I mean, like Charlie said, you never know.
This is the time when they don't care.
I feel like shows like us need to stop predicting, and I mean the bigger shows. They need to stop predicting these things because everyone always goes, well, we already know Kane's in here to eat the pin. And every single podcast or Twitter feed or anything that I've seen has been, oh, Kane's in here to eat the pin. So now who's winning, Lesnar or Strowman? Every time they say that, that makes it more and more likely that you're going to piss Vince McMahon off and he's just going to throw it on Kane.
Yeah, that would be a really bad end of the Royal Rumble.
I mean, but in some people's eyes, he's never won that belt. So that's well-deserved.
Right, if you're going off the Glenn Jacobs side of it, I guess, but
Finn Balor was facing the Miz Taraj in a handicap match, I think, and then Hideo Itami comes out to the weakest pop of a debut I've ever seen in my life. Finn Balor is like completely shredded, ripped, and Hideo Itami's got like the uncle that's had a few too many hot dogs at the barbecue body.
It was weird, like the crickets. They were like looking around, like trying to see what was going on.
Literally, I was thinking to myself. So when Hideo Itami comes out, I'm like, he didn't get any pop. So I was like, oh, maybe this isn't his debut. Maybe I missed it, and he's coming out. Maybe he came out last week. And then after I saw everyone talking, like, wow, what a terrible debut. And I was like, oh my god, that was his debut, and he got that reaction. Over under 6 months till he's out of the company, Garrett.
Well, I didn't watch 205 Live, which is where he was actually supposed to debut. But, I mean, I guess he'll be on Monday nights anyway. It's weird because the way they talked about it is like he'll actually debut on a 205 Live, but he's here tonight. And it's like, well, wait. He's fighting a non-cruiserweight match in his debut on Raw, where he'll be fighting in cruiserweight matches potentially because he's a big enough star. And he's debuting in a non-cruiserweight match. It doesn't really make much sense.
Unless this is the start of them mixing some cruiserweights in with the heavyweights. Which
something to note here. When Finn Balor debuted in NXT, he debuted as a tag partner for Hideo Itami, so they kind of just had the story go like a little full circle.
No, I get that part of it. I'm just saying, like it makes sense from that perspective, but from the perspective of like fans that are just seeing this guy debut, it's going to be confusing because some of them are going to have seen that and then they're going to go home and they're going to watch him in the cruiserweight division on the next Monday because I'm sure he'll be on in the cruiserweight match. And I mean, if I'm being honest, his style doesn't really suit a cruiserweight at all, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's going to go well.
Yeah, I think what was kind of weird was during the Cruiserweight Classic, what they were always saying is like, oh, there are so many different styles for cruiserweights, and now it's just come back to where it was of cruiserweights do flips. And if they don't, it's weird.
Well, the new styles don't exactly work as well. Like the things that have worked that you would think have worked based off what other histories would be like. Pete Dunne, that works. Also,
but then you got Drew Gulak, who works.
Drew Gulak, Jack Gallagher works. Sliced bread doesn't work as well as he used to, but he still works. So, I mean, it's not impossible to get yourself over with a weird
promising start, ladies and gentlemen. In case you're wondering how his Playman Masters are going, he was up 3-1 rounds, and then they lost 5 straight.
These kids suck. They suck. No F words. They suck.
They lick the hole. That's all I got to say about that one.
You want to see this, though?
Wait, what? That segment was we kept it clean.
Look at this.
It was clean.
It was cleaner than it could have been.
Licked it clean.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with saying lick the hole. I could be
Well, there is something wrong with what Charlie said, though. Licked it
I didn't hear what Charlie
He
said.
said licked it clean.
Look at this one.
Cedric Alexander faced Drew Gulak for the
That happened.
Alexander won, right?
Yeah, dude. Did you guys watch that match?
It was a good match.
It was good.
This is the first time I've really seen Drew over, and he is the most over cruiserweight, and he's a heel. So imagine the face turn when they do it. I'm
He's
ready.
got to look for it too. For I think for a baby face.
Yeah. He'll definitely be a baby face at
It's
some
going to be
point.
a win and a
All right.
loss. It's going to be a pattern.
I mean, if Seth Rollins with his annoying voice can be, a baby face, and Gulak with his, pretty boy look can. So,
God, I didn't even mention that match. Rollins faced Jason Jordan. It was your standard Jason Jordan match. He's all impressive, and he goes 15, 20 minutes, but then he loses. Honestly, I'm getting sick of it. I like Jason Jordan as a character, but it's a little tiring. Like, even when the match is really good to me, I don't know. When you know exactly what's going to happen, we knew what was going to happen. That it just, I don't know. Okay, going down all the matches on Raw's card, tell me if there was one where you didn't know what was going to happen beforehand. Rollins versus Jordan, Balor and Itami versus The Miz Taraj, Alexander Gulak, Alicia Fox versus Asuka, Samoa Joe and The Bar versus Jordan and the Shield Brothers. And Revival versus Rhino and Slater. So
the Revival came back. To no pop.
And that's it. So that's your matches on the show. Were there any that were in question?
Yeah, I guess the Revival had to win. Yeah,
I think the 6 man. I wouldn't have. I don't even know who won that.
Yeah, maybe that. I thought that too, but then again, like, faces kind of have to. Did the faces win there? I forget.
I turned it off after I told you guys before we went live. I watched the Nia and Enzo stuff. I thought it was cool, and then
yeah, that's cool.
we were like, oh, coming up next, Alicia Fox versus Asuka, and also to be tonight, it was like showing Stephanie McMahon getting out of a limo. I'm like, I don't care. Really?
Yeah. So the Revival, I don't remember what happened in that. Do you remember what happened in that 6-man, Charlie?
I don't. I remember I really liked the Rollins and Jordan match earlier.
That's the match. It wasn't Rollins versus. Oh wait, there was a Rollins versus Jordan. So wait,
they faced each other earlier and then had them pull double duty and
team up later. That's weird.
They took the spot of Roman.
That's weird. Why would they team up later after he just fought Rollins? It's weird.
Because they're both baby faces. They did a promo.
Yeah, I get it. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you team up with a guy you just fought? It doesn't make sense to me. I wouldn't. I'd still be like.
That's true. So Charlie, you said you really liked the Rollins Jason Jordan match. What'd you like about it?
Yeah, both of them. They're so good in the ring, and they were doing good. Before the match started, Rollins was supposed to face Samoa Joe, and Jason Jordan came out instead, and he's like, I'm the only one that's going to be. He's like, I'm the only one that's worthy or something like that of facing him. And then he shoved Rollins before he fell on his butt, and it was just a good match. And Joe had a seat on the side watching it the whole time. I don't know. I thought it was a nice little setup. It felt like one of them should have a title. And you know what I mean? And that was the triple threat, but Roman has the title, and that's kind of how it all works in.
Yeah. We know Seth's not going to beat him for the title.
Yeah, no.
I don't know who won the 6-man.
Stephanie McMahon came back. Whatever. We'll talk about it later. We had Woken Matt. This was the one. Was this the Goldfish segment?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this was the one.
Good.
This was the one really good thing. So I actually did see this. So I guess I must have just dozed off and came back too. And I guess it was after this where I went to bed. Matt Hardy is playing chess with Napoleon, who has taken form as a goldfish. And then he stands up and talks about how he's woken, and it shows the chessboard, and Matt Hardy has attributed, he's talking about his feud with Bray Wyatt as a chess match and how he has his entire army of what the hell are all the, what does he call them? His enchanted something.
I thought it was like Woken Warriors, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Woken Warriors. He has his Woken Warriors, and Bray only has a king and a queen. So it was a really good promo. Matt Hardy's good at this. It's not old to me yet, as long as they don't do the same exact thing next week. I honestly think next week, though, what are the odds, Charlie, that we see Bray Wyatt playing chess next week?
Could be fairly high, actually.
But he's playing chess against a full chess set with just 2 pieces.
Right. It will be him beating. He'll talk about how useless the pawns are and how his queen is better than everything else or whatever. Because, I mean, it's true. If you know the game of chess,
Which
Matt
I
Hardy
do.
could have 72 pawns, and if Bray Wyatt has a queen, he'll win.
Unless the pawn's gang up on the queen, which could happen. Angles matter in chess, too.
You could find a way around it.
I'm not saying you couldn't. I'm just saying, I mean, you'd have to like go in like a zigzag form, otherwise you'd get caught pretty quickly. You might still get caught anyway. 72 pawns is a lot of pawns. You're talking about a big chessboard, man. I don't know. I'm just picturing this in my head. I'm like, man, I wouldn't make it through that.
Pawns can't move backwards. As long as you're able to go straight down the pipe to a pawn that's in the back line, once you're behind pawns, you can just pick them off.
Just like, shoot, just with Tron bike your way through it.
All right, enough chess talk. What do you think about the segment, Garrett?
I mean, I like the Woken Matt stuff. I just hope they don't overdo it, and like it'll get old if they would just do it all the time. Like if they don't like calm down sometimes and actually have him wrestle some matches, like because there's a wrestling style to Woken Matt too. It's not just the look and the gimmick. It's
he lives it in the ring, yeah.
Right, like he wrestles that way too. So, and if you don't have any of that, that's what sold it so much in TNA was that he sold it as the character too. It was like legit like old wrestling gimmick. So, you know, and that comes partly from him wrestling in like that time in the '90s was the last good era of all like just making stuff up and hoping it works, you know. So, I just hope they don't overdo it. It's very possible to happen.
Agreed. And Charlie, what do you think?
I thought it was great. This is something that he never even did before, so he's already reinventing stuff. And you know, it was perfect. It felt like Broken Matt.
My kids.
And Corey Graves, this is important. He dropped the line, his broken brilliance.
Yeah.
So, what didn't even say Woken?
I mean, people are still gonna call him Broken Matt no matter what. So.
No, yeah, they will. But I just thought that was a good. It's good to know that they're not afraid to say it either.
Oh, right. Exactly. I mean, they can say it. I mean, he has full right over his name. He just wants to do the Woken stuff because he has his whole character is that he's now awoken as a spirit or whatever, and he's taken over Matt Hardy's body as a vessel. And then that's Bray Wyatt's thing too, is he's been taken over by a spirit, and Bray Wyatt is the vessel and whatever. So it should be good. Revival return, beat Rhino and Slater. They gotta win back over the crowd for sure. I mean, they got a decent pop, but they got some work ahead of them if they want to get back on top for Mania, right?
I think so. After it, though, they showed Kurt Angle meeting Slater and Rhino, and he was like, I need you guys to step it up. And then after that, it just shows Slater and Rhino, and Slater's doing this all, I need this job, you know, I can't lose this job. And then Rhino's like, I got you, we'll toughen you up. So
Slater and Rhino are going to become the fashion files of Raw, no doubt.
It's like they're prepping up a boot camp. So, I mean, I think that's original and kind of cool.
They're booting up a prep camp.
Or are they prepping up a boot camp, booting up a prep camp? Are they bouting up a poop camp?
They could be. Who knows?
Elias is, you know what? Kudos to Elias. He's gotten pretty good at guitar, has he not?
True.
The dude could play a couple chords. It's like he found.
You're asking us. Aren't you the expert, sir?
No, but you can see the progress he's made.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Like, what I want to know your assessment personally. I'm interested in what you think about his actual
better than I can play. I'm not very good at the guitar, but it's pretty good. Ask Rick. He's the one that plays.
Hey, this is secret. Don't tell my dad. My mom got my dad a guitar for Christmas.
Dude, nice. Is your dad Elias?
Who wants to walk with Elias? I even had the mic just like him. Look at it. It's like father like son.
So we had a really ridiculously stupid segment where all the women come out and they're fighting because they do that every week anyway. All the women are all in one segment.
It's hot, yo.
And then Stephanie.
Let's be real, Brady. They're in 2 segments, one on Raw, one on SmackDown.
That's true. That's true. So all the women are fighting, and when Stephanie McMahon's music hits, they all of a sudden don't hate each other anymore. They all love each other, and it's great. And they're all ready to pose for a picture, and they're like, "Oh, thank you, Stephanie, our Lord and Savior." So she comes out and says there's going to be a Women's Royal Rumble, which is pretty cool.
Not if they do 30.
I was going to say, Charlie, 30 or 20?
30s, dude. People will be bored by the second one.
Yeah.
They will be bored. I don't think there's any way around it, man.
No, honestly, 15.
Unless they change the rules or something.
15. I'm telling you, it's 15.
That's what I'm hoping for.
15 is the magic number to me
I
because
think they're doing 20.
if they do 15, they can do some from Raw, and then they can take the best of SmackDown and put that in. You know what I mean? Like the best 5 from SmackDown, whatever that is. You know, have like some matches. You doesn't have to be the 5 we would immediately think. It could be just a mix of whatever. A mix of 5 from there. And then 10 like best from Raw because there's like a bajillion on them on Raw at this point. So, you know, like, or, you know, whatever. I mean, there's enough now. It's really, really weird. They could do
the issue is they're still going to have their title matches. So that's 4 women that you don't have.
Okay, wait, let's be real. Absolution and Riot Squad have to be in it, right? On both for sure.
So
that's 6 right there. So they could be doing 10.
Who's going to be in the title picture for Raw and SmackDown? Charlotte is going to face who?
I don't think Charlotte defends it, and Alexa's barely been on TV, so they might not defend either of them.
Do you think they'll make it into the Rumble somehow?
No.
Because then someone has to face them. See, that's the weird thing because there's
I think we're going to
see.
We'll see Paige versus Bliss. We've got a
I can see that.
Weeks. So Paige will be ready, but I don't think they'd put Ruby Riott against.
So then you put both. So you put all of Riot Squad, but part of Absolution, so they still have a presence. Or are they going to be at her side during the match with Alexa?
They might do a thing where Charlotte is in Alexa's corner.
It's going to open the show.
I could see them do that.
They'll be like, "Oh, I've seen what's been going on Raw. The same's been going to me on SmackDown, and all of us. I've got your back for this, Bliss. You know, stuff like that."
And Charlotte comes out for her match later, and Bliss just no-shows it.
Right. So, I mean, if we're looking at it right now, let me think. We've got Bayley, Becky Lynch.
Didn't we predict Royal Rumble predictions like once a week till like the last?
Carmella.
Should we do that this time? Should we do it again?
We could. We have like 5 weeks though.
Well, we could do like more than what we did last time.
Like, throw in Dasha. She's listed.
Who else? Is there anyone that could debut suddenly?
They're gonna bring. The rumor is they're gonna do 30. And they're going to bring Legends and NXT people in also.
You don't think they would risk a debut after they just debuted 6 women, would you? Do you?
Absolutely.
Dude, is Ronda going to debut in the Rumble?
And who wins that? Ruby Riott?
Ronda,
she has
dude.
to win it.
If Ronda debuts her, obviously.
I think Asuka wins it. I feel like that's the obvious answer.
Do you think we could see Asuka versus Ronda at the very end? And
there's
Asuka
no way
wins
they're letting both Japanese stars win it, do you think? Because Shinsuke is a shoo-in. He's obviously going to win the men.
No, I think they would do that. They wouldn't. They might be accused of something, but obviously it would just because they're the 2 top talent, like over-wise right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, bro, I saw you pushing Hills with 5 seconds left.
I'm not looking at anything, but
No. We had 2 rotators. I was holding the flag and then flanking around and getting the spawns.
All right. Overall grades for Raw, I give it an F. What do you guys give it?
Jeez, every week.
I like how he's back there and he notices that too. That's the greatest.
Garrett, what do you give it?
I give it an Incomplete because we have to see what happens next week to
Bro,
really
you can't
know.
be giving incompletes 2 weeks in a row.
I'm doing it because we don't know until next week. I'm gonna draw this joke out as long as I can. Raw is incomplete.
Jesus Christ. It's 3 hours. How can it be incomplete?
You tell me, brother. You tell me.
Charlie, what do you give it?
I walked out enjoying it.
think I know
I
the
liked
point.
I liked the debut of Itami. I liked the revival being back, and I thought Jason Jordan was good. The idea of a boot camp was really cool, and I'll give it a B-.
There you go.
Garrett,
Garrett, you host SmackDown, bro.
you didn't see any of it, did you?
No.
No? Okay. So on SmackDown, Daniel...
I flipped it on to see Dolph Ziggler coming out there going, I told you! You thought I wasn't going to be in the match, but I won! That's all I saw.
Oh, that we'll have to talk about that segment. All right.
And like I said, I flipped that on.
Charlie, you saw SmackDown, right? You know
I
we
saw
have to talk
New Day
about
versus
this.
Rusev in English, which I refuse to talk about.
Wait, Charlie, you know we have to talk about that Ziggler segment, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw SmackDown.
All right. So the opening promo was Daniel Bryan walks out to talk about what happened in the match, and he kind of sort of beats around the bush about what he actually did, as you would expect a face to do when he's kind of sort of showing heelish tendencies. Even though really I would argue the heel in that match was definitely Shane McMahon.
Hold on. Let me guess. I didn't watch this. Let me guess. Daniel Bryan didn't go full heel. He came out, and he's still doing the tweener thing because they're trying to delay this. They're trying to make this go all the way to Mania pretty much.
Yes and no, but I would argue Shane McMahon is still very heelish in this whole deal. I don't know what you would think, Charlie, but that's what I personally think. And so basically, Shane McMahon then comes out, here comes the money, does the dance, even though he's way too old to do it. And comes out of the ring, and then he's like basically like threatening him, sort of, and he's like, but I'm not worried about you. And then Daniel's sort of like, you should be. And everyone's sort of like, oh, they're kind of, hinting at the idea that they might go at each other. So initial thoughts on that, Charlie? Do you think they would actually do that, or do you think that this is sort of going to end up being just sort of like they know that people are talking about it and they're just hyping it up so that we'll get like excited and then they'll never do it?
Knowing the Federation, I think there's a good chance that they would have Daniel Bryan's match be against fucking Shane. And, I don't want to be mad about it, so I'm not going to be. But it's just, I don't know how you use him for that, but it is what it is.
All right.
And I don't know. I thought the whole. Oh, yeah, you're still talking
No,
about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to move on. You can go ahead.
I was saying with the whole.
People with numbers.
If you want to fire someone, fire me instead. I thought that was a really good line from him.
Yeah, I like the idea that
And it
Daniel
kinda
Bryan.
Shook Shane down a little bit and made him realize what he's doing.
Yeah. I like that Shane is not just like I like that Shane is sort of playing out this role right now that he was still the good guy between the McMahons. Of the McMahons, he's the best you want to deal with or whatever. He's the most human or whatever in terms of the evilness of the characters. You have the contrast because Vince McMahon sort of sometimes plays both tweener mode. He's always sort of been in that role. He can be either or depending on the storyline.
People have so much respect for him that they'll never.
Yeah, it's never going to be.
It's weird because he's better as a heel, but
because if you remember when he initially came out on TV for the first time in like the 90s, people had no idea whether they were supposed to cheer or boo him, so they're like, yeah, it's the guy, even though he was about to do Vince McMahon the heel, Oh, it was great. Yeah, that was a hard time for. But and I think so you have you've always had the babyface in Shane, that's why he went to WCW back in the day when they did Takeover, and the just complete heartless heel in Stephanie. So there's always been that nice balance. I don't even know what's going to happen when their kids end up on television because what's going to happen. But for right now, we have that. And so I think it's interesting that he's playing out a character that he sort of went power crazy when he was trying to be so – he got so wrapped up in his feud with Stephanie that he went to the extremes he did against Raw. And he lost – did SmackDown – did they lose the main event of that match? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did, right? But because of Sami Zayn and them. But because of how he was discarding them because he didn't trust them or whatever, it cost them the match. And initially – it seemed like it was them, but if he had just, acknowledged them, maybe put them on the team, yeah, maybe it would have been looking bad in the long run, but he would have probably won the match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
It's a very, very interestingly crafted storyline that they have leading out of Survivor Series on SmackDown right now.
Agreed.
All right, so that led into Usos versus American Alpha 2.0.
My God, was that a good one?
Yeah, it's always a good match, this match. But if you have it every week, when you have it on a pay-per-view, is it going to mean anything? I
You
mean,
truly saw that they are going the heel route with Jason or Shelton Benjamin
Oh,
and
yeah.
Chad Gable. It was, and they're going complete face route with the Usos too. They're just slowly turning that butter in a way.
oh man. Hey.
Wow, it wasn't even the guy playing the game.
I said bucket.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe you. I believe you. I trust you. I trust you, brother Chaz.
Brother Chaz.
But yeah, dude, this was good, man. Chad Gable's a star.
Yeah, his singles run is going to be good whenever he does that. Because I thought when they hinted at it before Benjamin got cleared or whatever, that was really like it was building something interesting stuff with Rusev he was doing. That's what got us back into Rusev, man. Because it brought him back.
I see a lot of people that hate on Shelton Benjamin, like he just looks old. Try and tell me he looked old that match. He did not.
Yeah, he was
man
moving,
was hitting
dude.
running knees. You know, he was doing everything.
He looked like he did back in the day in this match. Like, I mean, he doesn't seem like he's missed a step. I think that was the thing. I saw some footage of him because when he first announced a couple of years ago that he was going to come back, I was initially kind of apprehensive because his run never really initially hit me that hard. I mean, I loved his Money in the Bank antics. Like when he did that running dive up off the jumping off the like he ran up the ladder and then did a dive forward into the crowd. That was insane. I was like, I jumped off my sofa for that one. I was like, oh, what? But I didn't know what was going to happen when he came back. But though I looked up some of his Japan stuff because I didn't even know he was in Japan, but he was. I looked up his Japan stuff and his other stuff, his indie stuff, and he's been staying as healthy and as I mean, he was in better shape I think before he came back, and that's probably just because he had to take so much time off to heal. But you know, also they don't have him in the wrestling thing. Like he looked better in that on the indies, I thought, but whatever, it's their choice. I guess Gable has it, but they really want them to look like American Alpha though. That's why he doesn't. That's why he has the Jordan look, which is the no suspenders. You know, it's a weird thing. But you know,
American Alpha Part 2.
Yeah, I enjoy this. I want to see where it's going, but you know, what are you gonna do? You gotta do this feud, I guess, because they kind of hinted at it. So you know, I'm happy with it. They're gonna have a good match at it's gonna be the Rumble, I guess. Yeah. So there we go. All right. Is there anything more you wanted to add on that, Charlie, or are you good?
I'm good.
All right. So we had Charlotte Flair and Naomi versus Logan and Riot. At first, I thought this was like a handicap match.
This sounds awesome, bro. I would totally watch SmackDown just for this match.
Yeah.
It started out with Charlotte talking about the Royal Rumble. And then Naomi came out and was the first person to enter herself in. Then the Riot Squad came out and they were like kind of bashing them like, yeah, you're not even getting in kind of deal. So,
all right, I get a quick question for Garrett. What percentage odds are there that Sarah Logan comes out in a full costume of game meat for WrestleMania?
I'm actually not getting that reference.
Like a meat suit.
Oh, I see what you're saying because of the hunting references. Yeah, dude. No, she's gonna come out
like a suit of skirt steak.
That would be interesting. Ooh, or like if she just came out in like if she came out in full like hunting leather, dude. Like like full hunting leather where they get and it's like completely like there's no way you could wrestle in it, but it'd be hilarious.
No, I'm not saying leather. I'm saying like raw meat, like dripping.
I know what you're saying. I'm saying it'd be almost funnier for her to come out in hunting gear because it'd be impossible to wrestle in.
Well, no, then we wouldn't see her because she'd be camouflaged.
Exactly. She'd be hiding with John Cena. Dude, if you put John Cena in camouflage, does he go to another universe?
These are questions too advanced for our simple podcast. Like the lizard people that are living under the earth.
I thought you were going to say in the White House.
All right, anyway, continue. Garrett, how'd you like the match?
It was a match. It went for way longer than it should have, I think, as most matches do when they're tag matches. I think that has more to do with the dynamic of a tag match. Always sort of, you never quite get the exact timing you want because you're switching in and out, and you're going to be more tired the longer you go. So every tag is like, oh gosh, got to get back in there. So I think when it comes down to it, this match didn't need to happen. I don't think there was a purpose to this other than they had people come out and they were like, well, time for a match. We haven't had a match in a while, except for that match we just had, so let's have another match. Yeah. Charlie?
Yeah, nothing right home about from the match, personally. It was very quick. It was like 2 minutes.
All right, so we got to move on then to the bombshell segment of the show, the one that has, I'm surprised nobody talking, actually. I've not heard anyone discussing this. This is a big deal, what happened in this segment. I can't believe this doesn't have more attention. So we had Dolph Ziggler come out for his celebration of the United States Championship victory. Brady already highlighted that he sort of yelled at everyone saying he told us so, and that none of us were ever there when he won it before. He detailed his history of championship wins. He sort of went through a sort of like a soliloquy of his career.
Which is a pretty impressive list, by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, he has a lot of belts. He held the Intercontinental Championship 5 times. He's the second time he's held the U.S. Championship. He held didn't he hold the World Belt twice? I mean, yeah. So he's had a pretty impressive career considering that belt that he held twice, it doesn't exist anymore. It's been melded into one, So now, after this, the thing that I was surprised about was I think he said something else, but then he lays the championship down in the middle of the ring and walks out. Another interesting thing I would like to add before I get the reaction to this, Charlie, is he came out with no entrance music, which he's sort of been hinting at, which is what old wrestlers used to do back in the day. And
I mean, he has entrance music. It just cuts out via record.
No. He actually came out to just dead this time.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, complete dead silence like
Then,
old
did
wrestlers.
they play his music as he left?
No. He just sat the championship down in the middle of the ring, like folded up the flaps, and then walked out.
Hey, Jim Cornette said if he was gonna pick 2 people to have the cornerstone of a new company right now, he said he said Styles and Ziggler, I think.
I think that would be a good match too. Yeah. So Charlie, what do you think about Ziggler laying the championship down, sort of after going through his career, sort of kind of signifying that he might be leaving or that he might be done for a while? You know?
Man, this is a huge way to end off your career. Has anyone vacated the title on their own and actually left the WWE?
CM Punk did in storyline once. I don't know if it was legit though.
Yeah, well, did he vacate it?
I know that there was actual contract stuff. No, he kept the title.
Ziggler vacated the title?
The title is vacant now. Yes.
Yeah, he actually left. Like I don't know if he's gone, but
he's gone.
He's gone. He left. All right.
He is gone.
He's gone.
He will not be on TV.
You heard it here, boys.
If they come back, well, you didn't hear it from me. It was like kind of all reported.
You didn't hear it from me.
But yeah, supposedly he's going to be off TV now, and everything. And this is just maybe like I don't know. He's had such an up and down career.
I would disagree with that. His career hasn't been up and down. His career has been at the same level for like the last 5 years, but his career hasn't advanced at all in that 5 years because they keep putting him in the title scene, taking him right out of it in the next pay-per-view, and then just forgetting about him and having him feud with people in the lower to mid-upper card. Or, sorry, the lower to upper mid-card. And it completely killed his fan base because people that were interested in what Ziggler was doing were only going to watch the Ziggler matches every so often because how much TV time did he get in the last year?
Oh, not much.
I mean, and then before that, it was like 6 months before with The Miz. So
but I was kind of shocked, man, because after he showed all those video clips, I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. I'm ready to see what he can do now, you know. And then next thing you know, he vacates the friggin' title.
All right,
I have a theory.
Read off the article from Cage Side Seats.
Wait, before you read the article, I would like to offer a theory as to this. Recently, we talked about him being on the Edge and Christian podcast and talking about how his career was sort of in the tank or whatever. And then now suddenly he was in, and I sort of theorized about this last time, he was suddenly thrust into the title scene. Now he wins the belt. I think Ziggler disagreed with the decision to suddenly, because I feel like they realized what they had suddenly, like very suddenly, and they were like, "Oh snap, we got to do something with this guy before he bails." But he had already set the wheels in motion in his head, just like Cody Rhodes did, and it was over at that point. He was already going to be gone no matter what they did, I think that's what happened here. I think it got in his head that they were never going to do it right, and then they finally realized it when he said that on a, because they listen to all the shows, but they listen to Edge and Christian especially, because those are their guys. So, I mean,
yeah.
So, I mean, it's not. I don't mean to speculate on the guy's well-being or whatever. I'm sure the guy's got some money stowed away, but the guy will make as much money as he wants to in Japan or elsewhere. So, I really think he could go to Japan and have some good matches with like Okada and Kenny Omega and other people over there. Naito, maybe they could get a good match out of Naito, Charlie.
Sure.
I think that's who the three Meltzer were saying the top right now.
All right. So anyway, on the Edge and Christian show, we alluded this last week. He said, quote, "I have a very short amount of time left to figure out if I want to re-sign again or if there's something to reach for. It's a show business thing where I love it, and in a very short time, I will have to decide if I need to go away and do my own thing or if I need to find a different role here." Said, so it's conceived, and so Cage Side Seats said, "So it's conceivable telling us we're not worthy of his talents for leaving the red, white, and blue belt as something to remember him by is a cover for a real exit. But in addition to the fact we did this, quote, will he or won't he song and dance with the show off before he re-signed with WWE in 15, that contract announcement came in July. We don't have access to a copy of this or any talent deals, but if Dolph signed for 2.5 years, that would be a different length from all the other contracts we've heard about. Ziggler could be walking out a la Neville, or maybe he negotiated his early release like Cody Rhodes. Odds are this is just an angle designed to, as he told Edge and Christian, quote, switch things up or disappear here and there. We'll have to keep watching to find out which as it should be. And keep July 2018 circled on the calendar." So
it looks like my theory was mostly right, but there were parts of it that I had wrong.
pretty much he's planning on coming back, but he just kind of wants to go do something else for a little while. He's going to do like what Jericho's doing.
Right, which is, understandable. If Ziggler's now to that length of time in his career, I think it's generally accepted that he can start doing that. Think about all the other guys. How many years is Ziggler at this point? 7, 8, something like that, on the main roster consistently with all the angles and stuff, something like that. I mean, gosh, he debuted back in the 90s in the Attitude Era. He's had such a rocky career, that guy. Ziggler. Remember, he was part of the Spirit Squad and all that stuff in the last Ed bits of
the 90s.
Not in the 90s, not like 99. I'm saying like the 90s wrestling. The Attitude Era. You can't really call it because it's the 2000s. It's not like 2010 though. So what do you call that period in there?
Well, yeah, but I think that debut was in like 2000.
Probably 2000. Yeah, I was about to say, like, what do you call that time period in there?
Well, I wouldn't call it the 90s. I'd call it 2000s.
Well, the Attitude Era is all. It's all in the 90s, dude. The early 2099, 90 to 2010 is the 90s, dude. Let's be real. It's not. What is it? The naughties? Is that what people call it? Whatever.
The naughties. What?
Yeah, I've heard that one time. It was on MythBusters. They probably have it wrong.
Yeah, he debuted in 2005.
See, like, what do you call that time? What is that time? The O's?
All right. Anyway, I'm assuming we're moving on now, so I am turning my camera and microphone off and not listening to you guys. Yeah, man. Catch you.
Wait for what?
Okay.
I'm saying you guys can talk about the next segment on your own.
Oh.
I'm not doing
stuff a little more clear. All right. All right, go ahead, Garrett. What is it?
All right, so we had the New Day versus Rusev in English. So they were dressed up in like Christmas regalia. It was a whole deal. There was a backstage segments throughout the show of them like going back and forth. I wasn't really into it. I mean, I guess it's funny for the kids, and it's like whatever. The match was fine, as the match usually is. Like the two Tricker street fights as street fights were fine, but it's just like they were Tricker street fights. Just like this was like This felt very TNA 2008 to me. Do you remember that when TNA did the Christmas episode and AJ Styles was dressed up as a reindeer? It probably wasn't 2008. I always have my dates wrong. I called the 2000s the 90s, so you know.
You're on the vegan level.
But you know.
I mean, here's my thing. I thought they went with what they believe was their two most comedic talents, and they tried. It wasn't very corny, yeah. No way around that. That's for sure.
At least
there was
Russo's
some
doing
stuff I was giggling at, I'd say, but
I'd rather have Rusev Day than Rusev being the foreign heel like gender at the same time.
exactly.
Like,
Rusev Day is so fresh, and I think that's the only thing that helped this. Without him, it probably would have been just a disaster. But they were pretty funny in some of the stuff they did. But they had to do the classic pie and face at the end, and it's like, really, come on.
yeah, there's no point in that. And it's like Aiden English took it, so he's the lowest guy on the card at this point. It's like whatever. That doesn't even make any sense. But I don't know. The guy works really hard, and he's shoved like his pasty white skin. Him and Sheamus need to be the pasty boys or something.
I just have to ask. If this is for the kids, why do they put it on at 9:30 p.m. on a school night?
The whole show is for the kids, Brady.
Even though their demographic is 40 to 50-year-old men.
Yeah,
the average age has to be probably mid-30s because of how many people
This is the problem.
stuck around. People that were my age during Attitude Era, people where it was like it was cool, it was cool for like all the college kids to really like WWE, and it had some it had some zing to it, and then people just kind of stuck around from the Attitude Era. So if you think 2001, if someone was 20, now they're sitting at 46, and that's kind of their average fan right now. You look in the crowd, and that's what you get. A bunch of people that look like me but 20 years older, a bunch of overweight bald dudes with Young Bucks t-shirts on, and yet they claim this is for the kids, but there are no kids watching at 9:30 p.m. on a school night when all the kids are this was our last week. I'm a school teacher right now. Today was our last day, Thursday. A lot of places were still in school right now. So there were not a lot of kids watching at 9:30 p.m. on a Tuesday night. So who was this actually for? That's what I don't get. It's like I like comedic backstage segments. I like when people are when they have a silly kind of gimmick or whatever. But this is just kind of, to me, it's just Vince McMahon insulting the fans, being like, "Oh, check it out, they'll eat this up." It's like, oh, look at the look at the 50-year-old bald guy choking on his popcorn in the second row because Aiden English his face hit a cake.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the argument is that. I don't think the argument is that the kids are the reason why these segments get put on. I think in the head of the producers, it's for the kids, the audience of the kids they haven't had for like 5 years, maybe longer.
Yeah, because most of the guys that age, let's be honest,
they grew up.
They probably don't have kids. Probably don't have wives.
Well, if they're going to wrestling shows, I mean,
I would just say, I don't know. When I was a kid, that was kind of like the cool thing. Like parents, like my mom and dad didn't really care about wrestling, but since I did, I had to like beg them to go to a show. I don't see too many kids begging oh my God, please go take me to the show, mom or dad. Like,
I had to beg to go to a house show.
Now it's parents that are like, I want to go, so I'm taking little Jimmy with me.
I've still never been to an actual show. I've had to beg and beg and beg to go to the only house show that came to this part of Ohio.
House shows are fun, though.
Oh, yeah. It's called WrestleMania Revenge. There was people that were supposed to be booked on that weren't, but got to see like Kane and The Undertaker and people like that. It was pretty cool. Big show in person. He really is that big. Yeah. Huge.
We ended with what looks like a good match on paper. Styles, Orton, and Nakamura versus...
It looks like that, doesn't it?
Owens and Zayn. How did it go?
It looks like that, doesn't it?
I thought it was good.
Charlie likes it. Charlie's the guy that likes to find the good stuff.
Well, I find the bright side stuff, and this is the first time Jinder actually made sense. This entire, like, the stuff he was doing, it made so much sense to everything. I don't know. He fit in well. AJ Styles is a GOAT.
I will agree that AJ Styles is the GOAT, but
Randy Orton versus the Singh brothers is always pretty funny.
Randy Orton versus two goons ever is always funny, but I mean, like that's been the thing since ever. Who was it that in that WrestleMania match? Who were the goons that he beat up then in that like Intercontinental something match or something?
No.
And
Mercury.
2014.
James
Yeah, that was weird. It was weird angles. Yeah, I don't know. It was okay. I mean, AJ, Randy, and Shinsuke always managed to do something. So you know, Owens and Zayn are also interesting. I don't buy Jinder. Still don't. I don't think I will. I think at this point most of us are against the idea of Jinder so much that we'll never like Jinder.
I think Jinder has done really well with what he's been given. I'm a Jinder fan.
Well, I respect the guy. I don't respect the character.
I'd rather watch a Jinder match than that debauchery that was that Christmas match.
I agree, but we didn't get that. We got Jinder in a match that I feel like that shouldn't even happened. Like why did this match happen again?
So what was the point of the match?
Was there one, Charlie?
All right, as far as storyline reasons, man, I'm going to read out the matches on SmackDown. You guys tell me what that was meant to do as far as advancing of storylines. Usos versus Gable and Benjamin. We already know they're going to face each other, right?
Yeah, so that's just saying, yeah, we're keeping this up.
Charlotte, Naomi versus Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott.
Royal Rumble stuff.
Like, will Logan or Riott challenge Charlotte for the title?
No, but I was saying Royal Rumble stuff.
Oh. So, and then the Ziggler U.S. Championship, that advanced
makes sense.
Storylines, I'll give them that. That was good. New Day, Rusev and English, we said that was just kind of the token Christmas thing, right?
Yeah, so that one just doesn't really.
AJ, Randy, Shinsuke, the 6-man tag, was that?
That was literally pointless. I think I'm pretty sure.
Did they set up any sort of like challenger for the title or anything?
No.
Well, yeah, in the sense that Sami Zayn's going to challenge AJ next. Yeah, they set that up, but
yeah, okay, they set that up, but it didn't set it up. It just sort of hinted at it.
It could be either him or Owens, kind of in a way. That's the gist you were getting.
Doesn't it seem more like Owens then?
But they already ran that back literally 3 months ago, so I'm thinking they're going to finally do Sami Zayn, and it's going to be against AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble.
Actually, you're right. They did just do Owens. They could have Owens turn on Zayn at any time if they wanted to after he wins that belt. You're right. But I don't think he's going to. I think that's going to be AJ versus. I think they're going to get like 3 matches out of it. Yeah, okay. Then he'll move on.
And then I think the other 4 are in the Royal Rumble, by far.
Oh, yeah, probably.
And hopefully it ends up being a Shinsuke win, because that would mean they've truly.
Wait, you went Jinder in the Rumble?
Oh, yeah, Jinder has to be in. He ran Control over 2017.
You're not wrong. I just don't want it. Because then Jinder will find a way to win.
He's not going to win the Rumble.
Then why have him in it? Because it doesn't make it. If he controlled the year, who else would win the Rumble? Really? I mean,
remember, it doesn't have to make sense.
It's true.
And you know what? I'm gonna look at it right now because honestly,
I think by controlled the year, I meant he earned his place in the Rumble this year. If that makes sense.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying for the people that are gonna be debating this, I'm trying to come up with some arguments that maybe could potentially.
I mean, he definitely could win. Don't get me wrong, and that'd be huge for the company if they.
If you're taking a little bit, why not go all the way with it? Because that's what WWE tends to do. That's how I get a lot of my predictions right. Is instead of just I take what you guys are saying and I take it a little bit further because that's what they like to do. To just.
All right. So right now, obviously, the match, the odds do not matter for Royal Rumble. So I'm going to list out what the odds are right now, 6 weeks out, 5 weeks out, whatever they are. Yeah, is that the next pay-per-view? It is, right?
Yeah.
So things are going to change from now. Right now, the top 10 are John Cena, Roman Reigns.
Is John Cena at number 1?
Yes.
He's going to win it, dude. Oh, my God.
John Cena, Roman Reigns, Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn.
Those are all legitimate.
One of those 10 is seen as like the favorite, but I mean, there are other people on this list, bro. Undertaker, Like Killian Dane, Mojo Rawley, Apollo Crews,
What do you do with Apollo Crews if he wins?
Enzo Amore, Ronda Rousey is listed as 150-1, tied with Stone Cold, Shane McMahon, and Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, I was saying that she's totally gonna debut in the Rumble.
She's apparently going to win the men's Royal Rumble.
I mean, it'd be kind of funny if she did, but then what would she be fighting men then?
God, dude, the fact that's so infuriating though, because like, okay, top 5, Cena, Reigns, 1 and 2.
Either one of them is going to win. That's the bad
Jesus,
news. That's
man.
why if someone like Shinsuke wins, it would mean that they're turning a new page. But do any of us really actually see it happening?
Well, that's why the odds are like they are. None of the smart money has come out yet. So people just look at it and they say, well, it's WWE, so Cena and Reigns are good bets. Like, oh, God, that's annoying. So it's Cena, Reigns, Nakamura, Styles, Rollins.
Yeah.
Can we get a shoot fight between Sonya and Ronda, please?
It's obviously not going to be it's not going to be AJ Styles, right? Because he's got the title.
Unless he drops it, but I don't see it happening.
Can you guys hear that?
What? The crackling?
Music.
Oh,
No,
no.
music. Okay, cool.
They've got
Fozzy.
there's some other cool news. If I keep going, the next 4 are Orton, Jeff Hardy, Kevin Owens, Bray Wyatt. Jeff Hardy making a return and winning and facing Styles at Mania, I would be really down with. If he came back and went to SmackDown,
that'd be cool.
I'd personally be down. But anyway, it's just Scott Dawson's on this list. R-Truth is on the list. Jerry Lawler and Barack Obama. Barack Obama is 1,000-1. That means one person in the world. Dude, literally. So listen to these ones. These are people that got somewhere between like 1 and 10 bets on them. Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Floyd Mayweather, Rhino, Vin Diesel, Carlito, Kevin Nash, James Ellsworth, Hulk Hogan, Darren Young, Billy Gunn, Shaquille O'Neal, Jerry Lawler, Alberto Del Rio, John Morrison. Dude, can you imagine Trump coming in and winning? I feel like that's something that would happen.
Trump versus Mustafa Ali and Arya Davari.
Nah, dude, they'd put Trump against Roman and have him win clean.
No! What? Did you not just... Okay. What I said makes a lot more sense.
Wait, what'd you say? Him versus Mustafa Ali and what?
Arya Davari.
Oh, God damn it.
You see what I'm doing there?
Come on, man.
But you know they would. You know that's what he would want.
Trump versus Hillary in a cage match.
And it's like a shoot fight, and she's like tied behind her back.
Trump versus Bill in a
How?
I don't even know.
And oh, hold on, I'll send it to you guys. I can't say it on this because it'd be really messed up.
God damn it. All right. Anyway, you send that to us, or we can just cut it and we'll talk about it in a second because I feel like we've gone long enough. Good little podcast. I'm gonna watch Lucas play. Oh God, he's playing CTF on Flak Tower. That's the worst. They're winning 6-0 though. Oh, it looks like some people on their team have raged. So you are not leaving. Oh, okay.
Between Bill and Trump right there.
That's
Oh, jeez. All right. So anyway, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Click the little bell so you know when we go live. And very happy holidays to all you guys. I'm not sure if we'll have one next week. We'll talk about it. But yeah, till next time. Peace.